A magnitude 6.7 earthquake just tore through the southern Andes Mountains of Peru, and people felt it shaking more than 500 kilometers away, all the way in the capital, Lima. The quake struck Thursday afternoon in the Ayacucho region, injuring at least 2 people and damaging homes, health centers, and schools across multiple mountain districts. Here's the part almost nobody's talking about. This is far from the first time this exact stretch of Peru has been hit hard. Less than 2 decades ago, a quake in the same general region killed nearly 600 people. No guessing, no dramatizing, just the facts, the science, and the real stakes. Let's get into it. The earthquake, a powerful jolt in the Andes. The earthquake struck at 1 p.m. local time on Thursday, with the United States Geological Survey confirming a magnitude of 6.7. The epicenter was located 38 kilometers, about 24 miles, northwest of the city of Huancavelica in the Parinacotchas province of Peru's Ayacucho region, a mountainous area in the country's southern interior. The quakes occurred at a depth of 66 kilometers, roughly 41 miles, a moderately deep rupture that helped spread the shaking across a wide area rather than concentrating its force in one small zone. That wide reach was significant. The earthquake was felt across several regions of southern Peru, including Ica, Arequipa, Huancavelica, Apurimac, and Cusco, and residents reported feeling it as far away as Lima, the capital, hundreds of kilometers from the epicenter. The damage: homes, health centers, and schools. Peru's civil defense chief, Luis Vasquez, confirmed at least 2 people were injured while evacuating their homes during the shaking in Coracora, the capital of Parinacotchas provinces. Authorities reported damage to 22 homes, 6 health centers, and a school across several affected districts in the Ayacucho and Cusco regions, including the towns of Puquio, Pulo, Coracora, and Huacho itself. Damage to health centers is a particularly significant detail in the immediate aftermath of an earthquake, since those facilities are often needed most right when they're most vulnerable to structural damage. Authorities have not yet detailed the full extent of the damage to those facilities or whether any remain operational while assessments continue. Peru sits along the Pacific Ring of Fire, the horseshoe-shaped zone circling much of the Pacific Ocean where a large share of the world's earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. That's a direct consequence of geology. Peru sits where the Nazca Oceanic Plate is being forced beneath the South American continental plate, a subduction process that builds up enormous stress along the boundary between the two. Stress that's periodically released as an earthquake, sometimes gradually through smaller, more frequent quakes, sometimes suddenly through a much larger, more destructive event. That geological reality means earthquakes in Peru aren't rare or surprising. They're a recurring, expected part of life in much of the country, and it's exactly why building codes, emergency response protocols, and public earthquake awareness are such consistent priorities for authorities across Peru's mountain and coastal regions alike. Thursday's quake happened in almost exactly the kind of setting that's produced Peru's worst earthquake disasters before. In 2007, a magnitude 7.9 earthquake struck the Ica region, not far from where Thursday's quake was felt, and left nearly 600 people dead, one of the deadliest earthquake disasters in Peru's recent history. That comparison matters for understanding scale. Thursday's magnitude, 6.7 event, while genuinely powerful and damaging, released significantly less energy than the 2007 Ica quake. Magnitude scales are logarithmic, meaning each whole number increase represents roughly 32 times more energy released. That difference in scale is almost certainly part of why Thursday's earthquake, despite being felt across a huge area and causing real damage, hasn't produced anything close to the casualty figures Peru saw in 2007. But the fact that this same broader region has already produced one of the country's deadliest quakes within living memory is exactly why authorities treat any earthquake in this zone with real seriousness, regardless of its initial magnitude. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever felt an earthquake, even a small one? If you want more fact-checked breakdowns of disasters as they unfold, subscribe to the channel. It's free, and hitting genuinely helps this reach more people. Let's push for 5,000 likes on this one. One detail worth explaining is why an earthquake at 66 kilometers depth can still be felt so widely, even hundreds of kilometers from its epicenter. Shallow earthquakes, those occurring just a few kilometers underground, tend to cause more concentrated, intense shaking directly above the rupture, but that shaking often drops off relatively quickly with distance. Deeper earthquakes, like Thursday's, release their energy further from the surface, which can actually spread the shaking more broadly, if less intensely at any single point, across a wider geographic area as seismic waves travel outward and upward through more rock before reaching the surface. That's part of why Thursday's quake was reported as far away as Lima, even though the most significant physical damage stayed, concentrated in districts much closer to the actual epicenter in Ayacucho and Cusco, where the shaking intensity was strongest. Peruvian authorities continue assessing the full scope of damage across the affected districts, particularly the condition of the 6 damaged health centers and the school reported affected. Aftershock activity typically follows an earthquake of this magnitude for days to weeks afterward, and residents in the affected mountain communities are being encouraged to remain cautious around any structures with visible damage until formal safety inspections are completed. Peru's Geophysical Institute will continue monitoring the region for further seismic activity in the days ahead. A magnitude 6.7 earthquake felt from a small mountain province all the way to a capital city hundreds of kilometers away is a reminder of just how far energy from deep inside the earth can travel before most people even notice it. For the residents of Coracora and the surrounding districts dealing with damaged homes, schools, and health centers right now, this quake was anything but a distant, abstract event. And for a country that already knows exactly how much worse an earthquake in this same general region can get, Thursday's shaking is unlikely to be treated as a one-off. It's simply the latest reminder of a risk that's never really gone away. Subscribe so you don't miss the next update on this story. Leave that comment below. Have you ever felt an earthquake, even a small one? 5,000 likes on this one. Let's go. See you in the next one.